Hey everybody, my name is Paul and welcome to Mastered MEC and Electrical Code Academy Incorporated. Well, we're going to do a little something different today. Everybody's used to my electrical training videos, but a lot of people don't really know that I'm an avid gun owner and that I like to shoot a lot. Now, back in Virginia, I owned a private investigations firm for years that most people didn't know about, and that was the whole point. You didn't know about it. But I did a lot of tactical shooting and I enjoyed it. I enjoy handguns and I own quite a few of them. And I always was a big proponent of handgun safety and getting the proper training and understanding how to use a handgun. And so my wife knows how, my son knows how to shoot. Most of the friends I used to hang around with would shoot, and they all are pretty proficient with their handguns. We own a big line of different handguns. Like, I'm a fan of some Remingtons, but I'm a big Glock owner. I love Glocks, the simplicity of a Glock. So if you were expecting an electrical video today, you're wrong. We're going to do a little something different. So today we're going to do a little review of a gun that I purchased, I guess it's probably been about maybe 3 weeks ago now, that I've put enough rounds downrange to be able to give a review on it. And I want to let you know about some of the things I plan on doing to it and what that gun is going to meet in my little special segmented area of what I needed it for, and that was concealed carry. In Texas, we have what's called license to carry. If you are a concealed handgun owner, you can open carry if you already have a concealed handgun license. So that was something that passed last year. And so, of course, I was a concealed handgun owner in Virginia as well as I am in Texas as well. So currently I carry either a 380 bodyguard, which is a 380 round, which is what some people call a short 9mm, but it's 380. It's a little shorter. It doesn't have the punch that I like, and the accuracy when you start getting about out after about 10 yards kind of starts to waver a little bit. Sure, you can put it on center mass, and it's fine for a self-defense gun, but it is small, and you only get 2 fingers on it underneath the front strap, and I just wanted something with a little more feel in my hand. So I had been eyeing this gun for a while, and it's come out. It's been out about a year, and it's the second gun to their smaller line, which is Glock, which is originally was a Glock 42, which was a 380, and I just wasn't into another 380. But guess what? I got myself a Glock 43. So we're going to do a little bit of a review on a Glock 43 today for all of you out there that might be concealed handgun owners. There's a lot of technical videos out there on this gun. You can look at all those videos. I am in no way saying that I am way more proficient than they are. What I'm saying is that I was looking for a gun that gives me anywhere from that 15-yard in, most notably the 3-yard to 5-yard range, which is my self-defense range, with a little more accuracy. There were some things that I was concerned about when I went to get this gun, and maybe you are too, and that's why I wanted to spill some of those myths. First of all, this gun is very thin. It is a great conceal gun, fits right in the waistband really well. If you have an actual belt holster, I don't know why if you have a belt holster you'd want a gun this small, but for some reason when I did it, I kind of liked it. Usually I have my 40 caliber Glock in there, and occasionally I have my 1911 Remington Enhanced R1. But for the most part, I wanted something that I could just almost forget that's there until I needed to react and get it in some other situation that would arise. So I was in the market, and I thought about a Kimber, but then I said, you know what, I'm a Glock guy. So I went and got me a Glock 43. Now, I got this Glock at Bass Pro. I paid $4.99. You can find it on Grab a Gun. That's grabagun.com for $4.49. Of course, you got a shipping, which is flat shipping. It's not too bad. Then you got to send it to an FFL, so you got to pay that. Me, I got it right there, so I kind of saved that fee. Now, I am a member of a gun club, indoor gun club, so probably would have got it from the gunsmith there. They have an FFL license, and I could have had it sent there. I didn't. Spur of the moment, I wanted it. I got it. Take it home with me right then. Unique thing about Texas is they don't register guns. So once you get your gun, I didn't have to do a background check because I already have a concealed handgun license. So it's pretty quick, although there was dozens of people there buying guns that day, so I had to wait. While I was waiting, I decided to do some enhancements to this gun. So I hadn't even had it in my hand yet, and I knew there were some things that I wanted to change on it. I love the thin. I love how it fits in the waistband. I've read enough reviews on it, but I was a little concerned with the capacity. So the cartridges that it holds, It is 9mm, and it holds 6+1. All right, so this was a, first off, it is empty. Okay, and let's see here if I can get it locked in. You'll see that there's nothing here. Okay, nothing in the gun, so the gun is safe. Okay, so when I got the magazine, it was a 6-in-1, and I'm thinking, well, I'm used to carrying a gun that's got anywhere between 15 and 16 rounds in it in one magazine. So I was a little concerned. Most of the guns in this small size are usually going to have 7-in-1, maybe even 8-in-1, and that's the max in this small configuration for concealed carry. I like the thought of 8-in-1. So anyway, while I was in line, I knew that the first thing I was going to do is I was going to order some extension magazines. Now, they don't buy the magazines, by itself. You get these extensions. Now, this extension that I got here, and I'll send a shout out to it because I have used it now, and it is a replacement spring that comes with it, and you get this little piece on the end which holds 2 extra rounds. This one right here is called a Tango Down. So if you're looking for it on the internet, it's called Tango Down Vickers. That's Vickers Tactical +2. So it has 2. Now they do make one with 1, and then they have this one here that has 2. I like the 2 because it really allows my hand to get on the actual grip, whereas the normal one that comes with it, that's a 6-in-1, once you get your fingers on it, the pinky kind of goes under it. Now they do have one magazine that does a pinky extension, but it doesn't add any capacity. It's just a pinky extension. So I truly wanted not only the extension, but I also wanted the extra capacity that I had in it. So what I did was I've got that extension, and that turned this into, instead of it being, and this just adds to the end of the magazine, it goes on to the end. I turned this from a 6+1 to an 8+1. So now I have 9 rounds, 1 in the chamber, and then you have the other cartridges that are down here in the actual magazine. So I have an 8 capacity magazine plus 1 in the chamber, so that gives me 9. Now I always carry a second one, which is also an extension. I get it out of here. I'm breaking in this new holder here, and it also gives me the 8 rounds. So that allows me to have 19 rounds quickly. And again, through the years of my training back in Virginia, I can shift between magazines pretty quickly. Whether I do a one-handed reload, a reset, or reslide set, or whatnot. A little tougher. There's nothing really to grab on these plastic sights on the Glocks. It's a little bit tougher, but aftermarket modifications that I'll talk about helps you do that. Anyway, so I got the more capacity. That was a must. So if you're looking at this 43, that's a must. Go on and get the extensions, and these were cheap. If you go and look at them, and I want to think that I got mine off of a place called the Firestore.com. So it was thefirestore.com is where I got these, or officerstore.com, officerstore.com. Shout out to them. And I got these things, and they were only $9.59 a piece. So I got 2 of them because the gun comes with 2 magazines. So that gives me the extension here. Okay, uses the same magazine, so you don't have to worry about it working or an aftermarket or anything. It works perfectly fine with it. Okay, so we got that. So that gives me the full grip, and if you can see it here, it gives me the full grip. So if your hand's all the way up here at the beaver tail, and the newer about this model is a more defined beaver tail than the other models that Glock has, in order for you to get nice and tight up in there, because there's a lot of power in this little gun. So you get it up in there, you get your full hands on it, you're able to get your other hand right on it, and it allows stability of the front end so you don't have any oscillation of the front end. It keeps it right. And if you know how to sight a gun, if you know how to shoot it and put the front sight on the target, how to focus on the front sight, and you keep that forward moving pressure on your fire penetration as you're moving forward, then you have less oscillation on the front, so your rounds are going to be more accurate. All right, so that's the gun. The gun has traditional sights. Again, you know the gun is unloaded. So I will tell you here, as you can see, there's traditional sights that are on this gun. Okay, drop the dot in the bucket, line it all up directly in your center mass, and that should be where you fire. This gun is very accurate up to 15 yards. It will go further. Obviously, I've seen people shoot it way out there, but again, I am concealed carry, so I really don't concern myself with those long distances. If I shoot anything over those distances, and I'm really not a self-defense, you know what? And I don't want to have to explain that in court. You know, this is a self-defense gun. It's just light, thin. You can conceal carry it. Some of the enhancements that I'm going to make to this gun that we'll talk about is the stock trigger pull on this is a 5.5 pound. It is pretty decent. And now let me give you an example here of this pull. Any of you that are out there that are familiar with this. So this gun is cocked back and ready. But you see the pull here now. You've got this little safety mechanism here in the middle. Once you depress it, you'll see that the movement is about 1/2 inch from there to there. And then it's a good break. Okay, and then you'll listen back for the click. It's pretty good. You hear that click, and then it's ready to fire again. It keeps you a little movement there, but allows you to keep the front sight on the target without too much movement. Trigger again. Of course, you're going to have it recoil back. It's going to reload it, and you right there at the click. So it's pretty good. I don't know that I have to make any real big change, but if I'm going to shoot for consistency on a range, I'm probably going to drop it down to a 3.5. And it's a mechanism you can buy that goes in these guns that allow you to drop it down to a 3.5 pull. Don't want any less than that for concealed carry. Be honest with you, if I'm only worried about the 3 yards to 5 yards to 10 yards maximum, but really 3 to 5 for the defensive carry type of thing, then a 5 pound is fine. 5.5 pounds should be more than happy. It's not going to really cost too much. But I shoot a lot of longer distances with these pistols, so that long spongy feel and that trigger pull can sometimes pull you a little bit off, and it's all about the accuracy for me. Probably not necessary for you every day. I shoot a lot, so I like to do that. All right, so these guns, like always, Glocks are very simple to take down. Okay, so always remember gun safety. Keep a gun pointed in a safe direction. Always down range. Always keep your finger outside, off the trigger, out of the trigger guard until you've actually acquired the sight. You know you're shooting at your target, and then you can come in and make sure you're attempting to annihilate your target. Until then, keep your finger out. As far as these guns, as far as breaking down, they're just like any other Glock. Simply pull the trigger, barely pull back, slide forward. The gun comes apart. It has everything normal. Recoil spring. This is a double recoil spring in this gun. It's a small gun with a lot of recoil. Everything else, the barrel's the same, 9mm. Everything's pretty much exactly the same. It goes together just as easy when you can see it. And that's what you've got. So a very simple gun to operate, very simple concept. Glock has done a good job with this gun. So let's look at kind of what I'm going to do to it. I'm actually going to put these sights on it. So these are called True Glow TFX Pro. There's about $150 sights. People say, why do you need that sight? Well, most of your attacking comes at night, and of course these sights, you can't see them at night. Now if you have muscle memory, you can put your gun, you feel good about what you're putting on target. But the reality is it's always nice, and it's just cooler to have night sights, right? Plus, these night sights have a little bit of an edge on them, and they're metal so that you can do a one-hand racking. If you were to have like something happen to one arm, you can get a rack in emergency. It allows it to grip it a little bit. It's still smooth, but it's a little better than these plastic sights for that. So this is the new ones here. These cost about $150. These are tritiums, and they're fiber optics, so at night you're not using the fiber optics. You got the tritium, lasts about 12 years. It'll glow at night. No batteries needed. That's great. And it also has a fiber optic in the day. It's going to cause those sights to pop. So I love fiber optic sights. So I'm going to add those next to the gun, and I'll probably do a review on that of the actual TFX Pro sights. These are the newer ones with the actual orange ring around it as well. It's supposed to help you acquire the target a lot quicker, so hopefully we'll see how that goes. Other than that, that's all I'm going to do. Maybe the trigger work, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Got to get more rounds downrange with this. But definitely the sights are a must. The extension's a must. Got to have the extension. So let's look at the specs if you're interested in this little gun. So here, if you look at the specs, you're going to see that the actual bullets here, the 9mm, the actual length of the gun is 6.26. That's from the front of the gun to the back of the gun. Very nice concealed carry gun. The width is only a little over an inch, 1.02 inches, so that's great. It's going to fit right between the belt line and not be protruding. You're not going to have any printing where you actually see the gun, so that's pretty nice. There's a multitude of holsters out there. You're just going to check them out now. The length between the sights kind of pretty irrelevant for most people, but it's about 5.2 inches. And the barrel length is 3.30 if you want to know what the actual barrel portion of the gun is. Unloaded, this gun weighs about 17.95 ounces. That's perfect for concealed carry. You put the rounds in it, it's going to be 22.36, but I can promise you if I use it extension, it's probably going to push that up to about 23 ounces, which is still great carry. Trigger pull, as you see here, it's a 5.5 or 5.5. Perfectly fine for concealed carry. Again, that's not a bad. It is a pretty consistent pull. But one of the upgrades I'm going to go is probably to a 3.5 pound. But we'll leave that out there because I'm not 100% sure. All right, trigger travel, it says 0.49, so it's about a 1/2 inch trigger pull of that actual take up of the trigger before it clicks or engages. That's probably about right. Feels about that way. The barrel rifling, again, is right-hand lay, hexagonal. The lands and the grooves really look good in this gun. I don't see anything out of the ordinary with that. Again, the stock comes with 6 rounds, 6 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, so it's 6 plus 1. But again, you saw where we upgraded ours to be a 8 plus 1, so it's 9. It's going to be in here. It's a great conceal everyday carry gun. So back to me. So I'm excited about this gun. Again, this is going to be my everyday carry. I'm weeding away from the 380 on the ankle and the 40 on the hip. Too heavy. I have a shoulder holster for my 45. That doesn't look real good. I need something that you can hide fairly well, even in Texas, because I have a license. I could let it show, but what's the point? That's why you get a thin gun for concealed carry. Really shoots good. Has some stippling in the front, stippling on the side. A lot of guns don't have the stippling up here. This is good to get that finger in there and on it. Sometimes people put a little bit of that skateboard tape, abrasive tape, abrasive sandpaper like tape here. Don't really think it's necessary. I don't really have any problem with this gun. Works flawlessly. I have not had a hang up yet, or be honest with you, I haven't had a misfire, but that's less about the gun probably and more about the ammo. I only use really good ammo. Just because I buy my ammo, and here's a shout out to where I get my ammo, and you might want to try it too because they have great deals. It's AmmoMan, AMMOMAN.com. Shout out to them. Really good prices. If you sign up for their newsletter, they send you emails when they're having specials, and believe it or not, they have some really good specials. So you might want to check out AmmoMan. So I'm going to put my sights on it. I got my extension. Might get my trigger work done. I don't know. We'll see how it goes with it. I have some shooting qualification work coming up here in a couple weeks. So, if I'm not too proficient with it, and when I say proficient, I'm not happy unless I'm putting a grouping about 15 yards at about the size of a golf ball, or maybe a little bigger. Certainly not any bigger than a tennis ball. But that kind of grouping at that distance, hard for me. I can't see anyway. So once I get it, sight down there, I really have to focus on the front sight and focus on the target. But it works good. I don't have any problems or any complaints with the gun. Couple other things, since I'm just talking tips out there to people. One of the key things when you're shooting is make sure you know which one is your dominant eye, and you always bring your gun to your dominant eye. In my case, this eye is the dominant. It's my left eye. And so I always have to bring it up to it. I shoot with both eyes open. One's giving me peripheral, the other one's focusing on the sight. I focus on the front sight. Everything else gets blurry. The target gets blurry. The back sight gets blurry. I focus on that front sight. Once I've acquired it, then I breathe, exhale, and I release the trigger. I squeeze the trigger. But it's a great little gun. I love Glocks. They're not the fanciest looking in the world. They're not all chromed out. I got those guns that are chromed out. But when I want a gun that's going to be there for me if I need it, I'm going with a Glock. That's what the police go with. So that's a standard issue Glock with most military and police. So anyway, hopefully you got a little something out of this, a little bit of my point of view out of the gun. It's a great conceal, great for women. I think it fits in their hand real well. So should be a real good gun. So hopefully you'll get yourself a Glock 43. Get out there and do some shooting. Most of all, be safe, and remember, always keep your gun pointed down range. Keep the finger out the trigger. and never point your gun at a target that you're not trying to eliminate. So remember that. And always practice gun safety. Okay? All right. Take care. Next time we will do an electrical video. I promise you. But hey, I had to break it up and do a little bit of gun videos today. So peace out. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions on anything electrical or got questions about the gun, go on and send us an email at info@electricalcodeacademy.com or info@masterthenec.com. We'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. And if you like shooting, and I like shooting, hey, that's at least one thing we got in common. If there's anything else. All right, take care. God bless.